On today's episode of WatchJRGo, we are back in the shop to finally raise my BMW Wagon back up. I told you guys I was going to do it. What is going on, guys? I am WatchJRGo and I'm here with Brady, and today we are going to get the junk suspension out of this thing and set it back to a normal ride height. First of all, so we can get it off the lift because it's stuck on the lift until we jack it up right now. And second of all, so it drives right. So you guys saw in the video where we inspected this car, it had so much negative driveline angle. The control arms are literally sitting up like this underneath the car. It's pretty wild how bad it is. So today, we're gonna rip all this stuff apart, swap out the front and rear suspension, and that should let us get this thing high enough that it rides nicely, and honestly, we're just going to a much better suspension. So let's go check it out. So over here, we have the brand new, this is one of KW's brands, ST suspensions, and this is an XA for the E91 Touring. So you can see the made by KW right there. This came straight from Germany to make our German car that much better. We've got important documents, and we've got the adjustment wrench right there, and also the rebound adjustment knob. I know it won't focus on it, but the little tool that goes in the top of the shock. So you can set your rebound adjustment, and these beautiful coilovers here. Take a look at this. I am so excited to get these in the car. So they're pretty heavy, and we need to just start tearing it apart and getting these in. These springs look much different than what's in there right now. Are these the hats? Cool. All of this seems very nice. Very, very nice. It's machined so well. So that is the game plan for the day. I'm pretty sure this is gonna take us quite a while, so we probably won't get much more than all this suspension done, but Brady has already grabbed the impact here, and the time has come to take the wheels off for the first time. Yeah, 1,600 foot-pounds. I really wish we had tires at the same time.
Yeah. That'd be beautiful.
As soon as we raise it up, we could put a real tire back on.
This thing is long too.
It is long. I got it if you wanna.
Oh, it's just gonna stay on there.
Yep. It's just gonna stay on there. All right. Don't kill yourself.
My God.
Here, you got it? Here, just hang on to it. I'll give it the old
mule kick.
The old kick.
Let's throw both in there.
All right.
They don't fly off.
Pretty good call. We'll both be here kicking it. Here.
Let's see what I can do here.
I kicked it. This thing's gonna fall off the lift.
I didn't.
All right, let's get a hammer.
Yeah.
We've tried pretty hard here. Usually they fall right off. This is pretty hilarious, guys. I did not think we'd have to beat these wheels off. They're new. I figured they just fall right off. Wow.
Oh, they're moved.
Yeah, there she is. All right. We can spin it, or I can give it a front kick. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. It's almost off.
Oh my God.
You broke the hammer off? All right, well, that is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We should really cut it right. I've never broken a hammer before.
Haven't either.
Taking off a wheel. And we can't hit it with anything but a rubber mallet because there's no tire to hit. You can't hit this nonsense.
Well, I'll see you tomorrow.
Well, I know, right? It was almost all the way off. That's what.
I wonder if I can give it one last kick.
Yeah, we can.
I'll kick it from the inside.
We can kick it off. Yeah, the mule kick from inside is. I like your stuff. The car's gonna fall, bro.
I don't like the sound of that.
I don't like the sound of that either. You guys will not believe how much longer we spent on this. Almost one more minute. Almost one whole more minute getting this wheel off. What on earth? Look at all that corrosion. Well, those are going back on with anti-seize on the hubs.
Nasty.
Nasty. We have to get them back off again because it's brakes after this. I agree.
Yeah.
This is my favorite thing to do, honestly. I love when I can't get the wheels off a car. This bottom probably. Oh! I thought I had to log in.
You thought you did.
Man. Good times. All right, where'd you go? Right there. Now that we made it that far, let's get this done and then order some tires. These stretch tires are not it. These are brand new, which is upsetting. Like full tread depth tires. They're even, what are they dated? 2 years ago? 4421. They're not that old at all. And full tread depth, but just terrible. I mean, the tire really does ruin the whole car. It's really unfortunate. I like stretch tires in a few applications. I've seen it look good twice maybe. This ain't it. Before we start on the suspension, well, I mean, doing the suspension in reality, we have to get a lot of the trim out of the back. So we pulled the hats off the seatbelt right here. All this rear trim on both sides. I am missing this piece, so I didn't have to take it out. And then just, you don't have to take this out, just pull it back a little bit, pull it to the side, and you've got plenty of room to work on this. So there's this rubber cover, only on one side, the other side of this car doesn't have it. There's the top of the shock right there, so all we have to do is stick an Allen wrench in there and loosen up that nut, and we're ready to lift the car up. But you probably want to do this before you lift the car up, just to make your life easy. So that is why we started in the back and tore everything apart real quick. Super easy, maybe 6 bolts. Yeah, I think about 6 bolts. T20, T30, T40 is all we brought in here, and a trim tool. So that's all you need in the back, and a 17 it looks like to pull the strut. Actually, hand me the impact with the 17, I'll just try to yank it. Yeah. Maybe we can use brute power instead of finesse to get this out. It is a 17, and here we go. Oh, this is the best day I've had in years right there. Came right out. Look at this, check out this bushing on these $3 shocks. Hold on, I'm trying to get it out of there. Yeah, you can see it. There's nothing left. Oh, it disintegrated and it's all laying in there. That's cool. That's how you know you got that quality. 2 seconds later, we're about ready to drop everything. Let's see what happens. Is it gonna launch the spring?
Oh, that's disappointing.
Very anticlimactic. We also both thought that's what was gonna happen though. So now that we've got the lower apart and the bolts that hold the shock itself in loosened up, we're ready to pull everything. We should be ready to pull everything. So a couple more seconds of work. It was literally just these 2 bolts here and that bolt right there on the lower, and we'll just pull down and hopefully slide everything out. Last bolt, here we go. Oh, it's gonna spin the body.
Yep, we need a wrench on
I need to hang on to that with some very big pliers.
Oh, that's good.
It's got a flat?
Yeah, it's got flats for you to put
Oh, look at that! We don't have to have big, that's cool. Yeah. Is it a 15 it looks like?
Yeah, at least they thought of something.
They thought of something. We got a wrench, let's do it. I'm a little surprised that came apart. There was so much rust in there.
Yeah.
Little surprised, but it sure did. And now, of course, the sockets, the nut's never coming out of the socket. Oh. Hey! All right, we got I was gonna say the giraffes. We got the geckos out, and here's the geckos beside the KWs. Look at this, that's a real ride height right there. We're gonna make this happen, that's for sure. And also, take a look at those springs. The diameter is like massively different in those two. And also, this just looks like a much nicer spring, doesn't it? It's also got a taper, which makes you think it might be a progressive rate or something like that. Interesting. Well, it also has a nice custom hat too. So let's get this all put back together. It only took us a handful of minutes to get all this apart. So if you're doing this at home, as long as you can get this thing up in the air, get a pry bar in between this arm here, the bottom of this and this arm, so you can pull down just a little bit like that. It'll make it very easy to get all this apart and back together. A couple seconds later, and we've got the new shock in and the spring in, and we adjusted it down some. We matched up our hats so that both sides should be at the same ride height, but we are just gonna try this out and see where it lands. So all we have left is tightening up that bolt right there, and this side is done, ready for action. Yep. That's where we wanted that nut. All right, so this one's finished up. And oh, should we talk about this?
Yeah, I think we should bring this to life.
There's the passenger side shock. This is the driver's side shock. And this, I kept hearing a pretty horrific noise out of the back. Ready?
Is it gonna do it again?
Pull on it and I'll rap on it.
That is exactly how that came out.
Oh, every time I was hitting a bump, I just heard this nasty noise out of the rear end. We were not expecting that.
Yeah,
Wow.
it won't even. Oh, let's
Oh,
not do that.
that was
no more.
bad. Delete.
Get rid of that.
Now we know what the problem was with this car. That was probably a lot of it. It made a horrendous noise when it would go over bumps. And it also would unsettle the car and make it kind of do that thing all the way out back. You'd feel problems back there, but I was like, what could it be? You know, maybe it's a bunch of bad bushings. I was not expecting the shock to be coming apart on every bump. What are the chances you think I can hold this thing? Counter holding it myself. 22 foot-pounds is what you tighten this bottom bolt to. I got some lights, we're getting close. Wait, the batteries just went dead in the torque wrench.
Oh, jeez.
Mid-tighten. You hear it? I think we hit specified torque.
That's exactly right.
That's the click. It won't stop. This is a problem. I think it has some cheap batteries in it, unfortunately.
Let's see what kind of batteries you're rocking.
We're back with new batteries on the torque wrench, which means I can finally, yep, we're good to go. Here we go. I think it was probably at 22 and the battery died because it was trying to beep and vibrate. 24. All right, we're gonna leave it at 24 because it's rubber bushing. We also did take the wire brush and clean all of this and knock a bunch of corrosion off around that. So we'll put some anti-seize on the hub before the wheel goes back on. So hopefully it doesn't ever stick on there again. That was crazy. And now we're also ready to do this one. But it's actually gonna take me a while to spin this down, isn't it?
No, I went ahead and tightened that up a little bit.
All right, I like it. Well, I was getting batteries. 24. 24 is the number here.
Yeah, we're pretty consistent.
We're rocking with the 24. Let's take the front end apart.
Heck yeah.
What are you thinking on the front end? Do we pull the bottom first, or should we lower the car, finish this, and take the hat apart?
Yeah, it's already in the air.
Yeah.
Might as well just do it.
I agree. We'll do that as soon as we beat the wheels off this thing again. Here's a 17 if you need that.
Oh, there it is.
Got it.
Found it.
So yeah. All that's left is knocking another pair of wheels off. Maybe the fronts will come off. Maybe.
Highly doubt.
Hard doubt.
Yep.
Of course. Well, we'll get the hammer on this. I didn't think it was possible, guys. I was kind of kidding. Like, yeah, the wheels will probably come right off the front. No, fully corroded on in the front. Take a look at this hub right there where the wheel sets. It sits on there so tightly, it's just completely corroded into place. So again, lots of cleanup and lots of anti-seize. And we're doing it again. All right, we're working on the front. We did go ahead and lower the car because we decided we better get the strut braces out of here. So there's like an E14 over here, an E14 over there, an E18 all the way up here under that cover. And then you slide out these strut tower bars. Does that wrench not fit the geckos?
No.
Of course it doesn't. I didn't think it would. Most of the cheaper ones have that the little tiny indent, and that has a really nice profile. The KW is obviously much better. So maybe we just rip these apart with the impact and let them explode out.
I don't like that.
No, nobody does. I mean, we can just ruin these. They're going straight in scrap. Or option 48. Wow, it's already all the way down. Do you think there's even any pressure on it? Yeah. All the way down? Oh yeah, that spring's loose.
Oh, what the heck?
Yeah, it's totally loose.
Oh, it's worse.
It's worse. Cool.
All right, well,
we can just pull the nut off.
Cool. Well, let's go ahead and just finish the rear since we're here.
Oh yeah, we gotta put the nut on. This is much easier than doing actual factory struts because we were both working on this a second ago, and in our heads we were both like, oh yeah, we have to go get a strut tamer so we can do this. But then we were like, wait a minute, we can just lower the car all the way, put it together, and then turn the nuts back up to ride height. So it's much easier to do at home if you don't have a way to assemble factory struts. Well, it's too late for all that. We already finished up the action back here, but we are putting the back end back together now that we've got the nut down and the jam nut on. So we should be ready to rock. You'll need a 17 for all of it, and obviously a wrench to hold it while you tighten the jam nut up, and you're good to go. So that is the rear, and we're going back to the front now, where it seems like it's gonna come apart a little easier than we thought. That nut on this camber plate basically just fell off, so let's see what happens over here.
Oh, what was that?
Did the front suspension just leave the chat?
Yeah, it did, actually.
Cool. I guess it just had nothing holding it up, so it said bye.
What in the world?
Auto eject right there, baby. The sway bar is very upset. There is nothing holding the sway bar together. Look at this. That's happening while it's going down the road. Oh, and that CV. That CV tried to leave, and then this stick came out of here now. Where? What on earth? Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
She needs a lot of help.
She's been a trooper though.
That's true. That is true.
Oh my gosh.
All right.
Well, this makes this a little bit easier.
Yeah, we can just lift it up now and pull out the 2 bolts on the clamp and 1 bolt on the clamp, and it's done.
Heck, it's right there. We don't even have to lift this thing up. We
don't have to lift it up. That's
right
true.
There.
We're good to go. We have found some pretty unbelievable damage in the front of this thing because of these geckos here.
Yeah. So on the other side, so this is what a shim should look like.
Yep.
We go to the other side here, and we pop the cap off of this.
Oh. Hey, the spring kind of reformed it to make it pretty. That's custom.
Yeah, custom. Can't argue with that.
It's smaller diameter now that it's got the forming done to it.
Hey, it's pretty circular, I'm not even gonna lie. Pretty uniform.
I also love that it took 1 second to get the nut off of the sway bar link there because it's trash. And that CV is not looking good. Not looking good. Looks like it's gonna come right out. It just might not come out.
I mean, if it's going how it started, it's just gonna fall right off.
Right,
and then we're probably happy about that.
The best part is all the bolts will be loose, just like all the others have been on this car.
This is ridiculous.
Brady, you know the sad part of this is we put in this like ultra nice suspension, but when we compare the new suspension to the old suspension, just the fact that it's not completely broken is going to make it drive so much better. It'll be such an improvement. It'll be hard to tell what is the new suspension and what is the fact that it's not falling apart.
Yeah.
It's like, it's tough.
It'll make it easier to diagnose.
Yeah, much easier to diagnose. Yeah. And all we have left is a cheap sway bar link to put back everything, you know, and the CV. The CV is obviously something. It's going back together tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's another problem for another day.
That's right. So the dust cap here, the bellow, was completely folded up like this on this strut here. So I was like, oh, I'll just pull it off because I, you know, pulled the spring off to make it easy to get out. And all of this rust just fell out of the front shock. I mean, all of this rust on the floor was inside this. Wow, that's crazy. I never would have imagined that you could just have piles of rust coming out of a shock absorber. Well, after spending 20 minutes getting this strut out, we found more fun things on this car. First of all, the funniest thing, you guys will get a big kick out of this. Whoever was replacing this before beat this thing within an inch of its life. Look at that. They were just hitting all over it, just wrecking this upright, which is pretty funny. But then Brady was like, oh, hey, safety concern. And we came over here and this bolt on the brake caliper was backed out at least a 1/4 inch. It was just barely hanging on. So the brakes were about to fall apart. Obviously the sway bar was gonna fall apart. We knew that. That CV over there is pretty hurt. And the rear suspension was gonna fall apart. All at any given time, it could have just, I could have been driving a hovercraft down the road at 80 miles an hour.
I think you already were.
This is, future tech was holding this together.
Man, I don't know.
Well, unfortunately, because of the camber plates that they replaced the stock uppers with on this car, you guys can see those green things right there. The new springs are factory sized and will not fit inside there. Yeah, we were trying to put this together today and we quickly found out that this just slides off all over the place. It's not even close to fitting on that camber plate there. We have to stop for the night and get some OEM parts and then finish putting the fronts together. I'm super pumped that the rear's together and all I gotta do is throw the plastics back in, but here we are on the fronts, rebuilding the whole car, not just little stuff, but you know, putting the brakes back into working order and all kinds of stuff that needed to be done. So it's time to order a few more OEM parts so we can finish this up and then throw all that green stuff in my scrap trailer. That
sounds like a plan.
Yeah, I gotta make sure that never returns to the road. So there you have it, guys. Changing the suspension on the 06 335 XI wagon, and soon it'll be, yeah, I think it's gonna ride nice after this. Like, without the rear suspension falling apart, without brakes falling off, it should ride nice. That's what we're going for here.
We're not asking a lot.
Not a lot, actually.
really are.
That is it for today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to head on over to shop WatchJRGo.com for cool shirts, not like this. And please like, share, subscribe, do whatever you want to do, and I will talk to you next time. This was fun, right? This was a...
No, I didn't like any of this, actually.
I
really didn't want to do... the fact I found that halfway threaded on, that rear thing, the rear strut halfway hanging on.
It's sketchy.
I mean, and then this whole thing just dropped down like it was...
Crazy.
I've never seen anything quite like this.
I've never seen the whole front suspension fall out either. It's just nuts. Just nuts.
It would have been funny if the entire front subframe just fell too.
It would have been funny. I'll give you that. It would have been funny. It wouldn't have been good, but it would have been funny.
We would have laughed at it in about a week.
Well, while I'm ordering parts, I can order the ride height for the headlights. Solving another problem. We'll get the headlight error off the screen.
You're kind of forced to at this
point. I am. So sway bar links, the uppers, and the little link for the headlights, and then we'll be back in business. We just needed a handful of parts. And that's just what it takes to put this back together for now, because we got to take the other side apart again for a CV down the road.
That's true.
Yep. But I'm excited to see what it drives like after this.
You want to do it the dirty way or the easy way?
The CV?
Yeah. Replace the reseal or just new axle?
Oh, new.
Just new everything?
Yeah, all new. All new.
Right on.
I'm sure it's destroyed. Yeah. At least this one's okay.
For now.
For now.